CDL Practice Test, Texas, General Knowledge, Part 9. Question number 207. Testing the stopping action of your service brakes should be done, A. only during times when your air pressure is greater than normal, B. at a designated service brake testing facility, C. by setting the parking brake and using a low gear, D. when moving at approximately 5 miles per hour. The correct answer is here, D. when moving at approximately 5 miles per hour. Explanation. Once your brakes are at a normal air pressure, release the parking brake. Then, move forward at about 5 miles per hour and press the service brakes firmly. If there is any pulling or unusual feel, you should complete further testing. Question number 208. How many red reflective triangles should you carry? A. 1, B. 3, C. 4. The correct answer is here, B. 3. Explanation. Your emergency equipment should include 3 reflective triangles, 6 fusees, or 3 liquid burning flares. Question number 209. When driving in heavy rain or through standing water, your brakes will get wet. When this happens, you might A. experience a wheel fire, B. reduce the risk of hydroplaning, C. need to use tire chains, D. lose braking power. The correct answer is here, D. lose braking power. Explanation. Water in the brakes can lead to the brakes becoming weak, to apply unevenly, or to grab. When your brakes get wet, you may experience wheel lockups, pulling to the side, or a loss of braking power. This may lead to jackknifing if you are pulling a trailer. Question number 210. As your blood alcohol concentration, BAC, rises, what happens? A. judgment and self-control are affected. B. you see more clearly how alcohol is affecting you. C. you can sober up in less time. The correct answer is here, A. judgment and self-control are affected. Explanation. Alcohol affects the body in many different ways, but it first affects your judgment and self-control. As a result, you may not realize how drunk you are becoming, and you may start to make dangerous decisions. Question number 211. Which of these statements is true about speed management? A. on slippery roads, it takes longer to stop and it is harder to turn without skidding. B. shady parts of the road allow better traction than open areas. C. road surfaces will freeze before bridges. The correct answer is here, A. on slippery roads, it takes longer to stop and it is harder to turn without skidding. Explanation. Slippery roads provide less traction. Your vehicle's braking distance will increase, especially on a road covered in snow or ice, and turns will be more likely to cause skids. For safety, reduce your speed by about 1/3 on a wet road or about 1/2 on a snow-covered road. On an ice-covered road, slow down to a crawl and consider stopping altogether. Question number 212. What is a pull-up? A. pulling forward while backing a trailer to reposition it. B. a maneuver performed by a tow truck to pick up an overturned truck. C. when pulling off the shoulder, pulling up until the trailer is straight. The correct answers here. A. Pulling forward while backing a trailer to reposition it. Explanation. When backing a vehicle, especially a tractor trailer, you may need to pull forward to straighten the vehicle or reposition it for a better angle. This corrective maneuver is called a pull-up. Note, however, that you should be able to back your vehicle successfully without too many such corrections. During your CDL skills test, your examiner may penalize you for too many pull-ups. Question number 213. When you are passing another vehicle, pedestrian, or bicyclist, you should assume that they A. will move out of your lane of traffic, B. see you, C. may move into your traffic lane. The correct answer here, C. may move into your traffic lane. Explanation. When passing another vehicle, pedestrian, or bicyclist, assume that they have not seen you and might move into your way. Communicate your presence to them and proceed with caution. Question number 214. Controlled braking, A. involves locking the wheels for short periods of time. B. can be used while you are turning sharply. C. is used to keep a vehicle in a straight line when braking. The correct answer here, C. is used to keep a vehicle in a straight line when braking. Explanation. In controlled braking, you apply the brakes as hard as you can without locking the wheels, keeping movement of the steering wheel to a minimum. Question number 215. What is a hazard? A. any obstacle in the roadway. B. anything that obstructs the roadway. C. a game of chance. D. any road condition or user, driver, cyclist, pedestrian, that is a possible danger. The correct answer here, D. any road condition or user, driver, cyclist, pedestrian, that is a possible danger. Explanation. A hazard is anyone or anything that can cause an unsafe condition. The best drivers are defensive and prepared for hazards. Question number 216. Why do dry bulk tanks require special care? A. the load can shift. B. they have a high center of gravity. C. both of the above answers are correct. The correct answer here, C. both of the above answers are correct. Explanation. It takes special skills to drive a tank truck. Dry bulk tanks have a high center of gravity and their loads can shift, making the vehicle more prone to rollovers. Use extreme caution on curves and when making sharp turns. Question number 217. During a trip, how often should your vehicle be inspected? A. whenever a light comes on or every 12 hours. B. every planned stop. C. every hour. D. within the first 50 miles and every 150 miles or every 3 hours. The correct answer here, D. within the first 50 miles and every 150 miles or every 3 hours. Explanation. Your vehicle should be inspected within the first 50 miles and also every 150 miles or every 3 hours, whichever comes first. Gauges should be monitored, but do not wait until one comes on to inspect the vehicle. Question number 218. A stale green light means A. The light ahead has just turned red. B. The light ahead just turned green. C. The light ahead has been green for quite a while. The correct answer is here, C. The light ahead has been green for quite a while. Explanation. A stale green light is a traffic light that is green when you first see it. Thus you do not know how long it has been green, so we have to assume it will change at any moment. Question number 219. Which of the following cannot be checked at the same time? A. Brake lights and red reflectors, on rear. B. Headlights and amber reflectors. C. Brake lights, turn signals, and four-way flasher functions. The correct answer is here, C. Brake lights, turn signals, and four-way flasher functions. Explanation. In step 5, walk around inspection, of the 7-step inspection method, you walk to the front of your vehicle to check that the turn signals and four-way flashers are working. Obviously you can't check all your brake lights from that vantage point. Question number 220. What should you do if a car coming toward you at night keeps its high beams on? A. Look toward the right edge of your lane or the right edge of the road. B. Flash your high beams at the other driver. C. Slow down and look straight ahead in your lane. The correct answer is here, A. Look toward the right edge of your lane or the right edge of the road. Explanation. If an oncoming vehicle has not dimmed its headlights, don't retaliate with your own high beams. Instead, slow down, keep right, look away from the vehicle, and steer by the right edge of the road until the vehicle has passed you. Question number 221. Cargo that can shift should have at least tie down. S. A. 1. B. 2. C. 3. The correct answer is here, B. 2. Explanation. The rule is 1 tie down for every 10 feet of cargo, but at least 2 tie downs regardless of how small the cargo is. Question number 222. Which of the following statements about an escape ramp is false? A. It is of no use if you are traveling too fast. B. It may turn uphill. C. It may be made of soft gravel. D. It may be located a few miles from the top of the downgrade. The correct answer is here, A. It is of no use if you are traveling too fast. Explanation. Escape ramps are designed with soft gravel, upgrades, or both, to slow down vehicles that experience brake failure on a downgrade. Regardless of your speed, look for one of these escape ramps, which can save lives, equipment, and cargo. Find out ahead of time where the escape ramps are located on your route. Question number 223. Which of these is not required knowledge for drivers needing a hazmat endorsement? A. Basic chemistry. B. When to use placards. C. Which products can be loaded together? The correct answer is here, A. Basic chemistry. Explanation. For a hazmat endorsement, you must learn which materials require placarding your vehicle and which materials cannot be loaded together. Question number 224. Which of these statements about using turn signals is true? A. You should use your turn signals to mark your vehicle when it is off on the side of the road. B. You do not need to use your turn signals when changing lanes in traffic on a 4-lane highway. C. When turning, you should signal early. The correct answer is here. C. When turning, you should signal early. Explanation. Whenever you intend to turn or change lanes, start to signal well in advance and keep signaling until you've completed the maneuver. Then turn off your signal if it hasn't already turned off by itself. Question number 225. How many reflective warning triangles should you carry with you for emergencies? A. 3. B. 1. C. 2. D. 4. The correct answer is here. A. 3. Explanation. Your vehicle's emergency equipment must include warning devices such as 3 reflective red triangles, 3 liquid flares, or 6 fusees. Question number 226. When there's a hazard ahead, it's almost always quicker for you to than to come to a full stop. A. Downshift. B. Sound your horn. C. Go straight through the hazard. D. Steer clear of it. The correct answer is here. D. Steer clear of it. Explanation. Large vehicles have long stopping distances. If you're faced with a hazard ahead and you don't have enough room to stop, try to steer away from the hazard. It's usually quicker to turn away than to come to a full stop. However, top-heavy vehicles and tractors with multiple trailers may flip over. Question number 228. Which of the following provide extra gears on some trucks? A. Auxiliary transmissions. B. Multi-speed rear axles. C. Both auxiliary transmissions and multi-speed rear axles. The correct answer is here. C. Both auxiliary transmissions and multi-speed rear axles. Explanation. Multi-speed rear axles, which tend to be less common in today's CMVs, and auxiliary transmissions provide additional gears that you can select while you drive. Question number 229. Streaks of rust on a lug nut are signs that A. It's frozen or stuck. B. It's alright. C. It's in danger of shearing. D. It's loose. The correct answer is here. D. It's loose. Explanation. Shiny threads or streaks or trails of rust are signs that the lug nut is loose. If so, use a manual torque wrench to tighten the lug nut to the recommended torque for your vehicle. Question number 231. Which of the following materials can be used in a Class A, B, C fire extinguisher to put out these types of fires? A. Dry chemical agent. B. Carbon dioxide. C. Water. The correct answer is here. A. Dry chemical agent. Explanation. When used properly, multipurpose dry chemical agents can safely extinguish Class A, wood, paper, and other combustibles, fires, Class B, flammable liquids and gases, fires, and Class C, electrical, fires. Carbon dioxide doesn't work well on Class A fires. Water should never be used on Class C fires because it's electrically conductive. Question number 232. Undulated front axles can cause A. Poor traction, B. Unsafe steering, C. Both poor traction and unsafe steering. The correct answer is here, C. Both poor traction and unsafe steering. Explanation. Cargo must be loaded to keep the weight of the vehicle properly balanced. If there's not enough weight over the front axle, the front tires won't have enough traction for the vehicle to be steered safely. Question number 233. Retarders are used by A. Robotics, B. Brake system, C. Exhaust, electrical, hydraulics, and engine. The correct answer is here, C. Exhaust, electrical, hydraulics, and engine. Explanation. There are 4 basic types of retarders: exhaust, engine, hydraulic, and electric. Question number 234. When driving at night, use your low beams when an oncoming vehicle is within A. 500 feet, B. 300 feet, C. 400 feet. The correct answer is here, A. 500 feet. Explanation. To prevent blinding other drivers at night, dim your headlights to low beams whenever you are within 500 feet of an oncoming vehicle or within 500 feet of a vehicle you are following. Question number 235. With low beam headlights on, you can see A. 200 feet ahead, B. 150 feet ahead, C. 350 feet ahead, D. 250 feet ahead. The correct answer is here, D. 250 feet ahead. Explanation. With low beams you can see ahead about 250 feet.